I'm Kila.
I'm Cassie.
And
I'm Cassie.
And we're the Lost and Found Sisters.
We're the Lost and Found Sisters.
In 2020, I did a DNA test.
In 2020, I was still in federal prison for 12 years.
We all have the same biological dad.
We all have
And our
different
story
moms.
is full of twists and turns, prostitutes, strippers, and we put the
All right. Sorry, y'all.
To go like that.
Yeah, so we're live. Welcome back.
That played live?
Just, it's okay.
That was Operation Error.
Yeah, sorry about that. Welcome back to the My Lost and Found Sisters.
Oh,
Producer Trent here. Welcome back, ladies. How are y'all?
Hey.
we're good.
Sorry about that. I don't know. I was playing in more than one place.
I know.
Yeah.
You got us all freaked out there.
Sorry about that.
It was like double talk. I have an audio?
Yeah, a little feedback.
Yeah,
there.
it's
all
got
good.
overloaded a little bit.
Yeah. Whew.
Hey, welcome. Welcome, though.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. How's everybody's week been?
Been good for me.
I've
Good
had
time.
a very busy week.
Yeah, Dixie's been mean this week.
I've been
What about-
busy.
you said you had a busy week too, Kila, didn't you?
I did. Work was crazy this week. It was really busy.
Well, TGIF, right?
Mm-hmm. Dixie,
Yeah.
did you exercise every day this week?
We're gonna go there right off the bat, huh?
Called
Tell us
out.
about your exercise routine, Dix.
I mean, I've just been getting up and running, walking, jogging. I mean, not necessarily a full out run because I'm old and out of shape. So I'm trying to get a little exercise in, and I
I
may
thought
or
you
may
were
not.
doing burpees too, right?
I mean, sometimes I try to do them. I did join the gym this week.
Nice.
The day before I was running, and may or may not have ran in the back of my neighborhood, and little gravel divot was in the back of the neighborhood, and I'm sorry, not a gravel divot, but the road was a little uneven, and the toe of my shoe may have caught it, and I face planted.
And maybe she's got some road
road
rash.
rash on my knee, and then I went down and stopped myself with my hand, but just enough my face grazed the asphalt, and it started bleeding just a little bit and hit my head, but finished my 2 miles.
Nice.
Something to be proud of.
Dedication.
I was really madder because I just bought a new pair of leggings, and I put a hole in my new pair of leggings. So I was madder about that.
Oh.
Understandably.
But I have a hole in my new pair of leggings. But oh well.
All right. Are we picking up from where we left off last week?
Sure are.
All right. So what are we going to talk about? The way we grew up is what Cassie and I talked about last night.
Yes, I feel like we should start with maybe like where the dysfunction started at.
That's a lot to unpack.
It's gonna go way back.
Way back.
But I grew up a little differently than you guys grew up.
Yes. So I mean your memories and your experiences are going to be completely different than ours.
Mhm. Yeah, because
Probably.
my mom, we were in Chattanooga, and my mom was a single mom. I think she had me at 17. Her and my dad were together, and then obviously she got with your dad at some point.
Imagine that.
That's how that works.
That's how that works. And my mom and dad were never married. But she bartended a lot. And well, I thought bartended, but the Play Lake Club, I think it was stripper, not bartended, but
She could have acted like she was a bartender to start off with.
what did they
She
say,
may have
Dixie?
bartended.
Go-go dancers was at the
Yes,
Play Lake
the
Club.
Go-Go dancers, yeah.
Yes.
It's her story. We're going to let her tell it like she wants to.
But she did bartend at a place called the Coachman, and your Aunt Billy Joe bartended there with her. I found that out.
Mhm.
And then we left Chattanooga and we ran to California because we were running from a drug dealer.
That may or may not possibly have been our dad. We're
It
not
wasn't-
sure.
Probably was not our dad.
Well, I think we had talked about that, and y'all said your dad was like a nice drug dealer.
He was a nice drug
Yeah,
dealer.
he was.
Yeah, like we were running from, some kind of big drug dealer. Where my mom was paranoid, jumping out of windows, taping stuff up under our cabinets, and all the drugs. And then my mom would disappear for months at a time. She would drop me off at my grandmother's house, and then she would leave. She'd be back in 30 minutes, and then a month later we would see her, and then she would just have so many toys and all the things. And so that's how she tried to buy my love with all of the things that she bought me.
For being gone so long.
for being gone for so long. She was probably out stripping, making money, and would come back with all these extravagant gifts.
Or people were
Well, aren't
tipping her
you
in teddy
lucky?
bears.
Aren't you lucky?
Oh, she didn't. I mean, I did play in all the glitter at the Play Lake Club on the
Mhm.
swing. It was my favorite place to go to.
So what is your like earliest childhood memory? I mean, of that
Mm,
dysfunctional era?
well, during all that time, like when I would be with my mom, there were times I remember like the doors getting kicked in where like police officers or men with batons would be beating the crap out of each other, probably over some kind of crazy drug deal. Or I remember waking up talking to my mom and she didn't know who I was because she was so strung out, I guess, or had just had her fix and, was like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Mom, stop. We got to get ready for school." And she was just in slow motion, just like the Bionic Woman. It's almost like how she was moving. And then I knew to call my grandmother and my dad, so they would come and get her, and we'd take her to rehab, and then we'd pick her up 6 weeks later, and, I knew to take the needles out of her purse, and then she would go to the bathroom, and then she would disappear. She'd have everybody singing at a piano, Christian music, and then she would disappear in the bathroom, and we wouldn't see her again until she showed back up whenever.
Does she go to the bathroom with like 6 other individuals at the same time and they would all be, in the bathroom together?
No, crazy fact about my mom is that she could sing like crazy and she could play any musical instrument. So she would sit around and play church music on the piano and have everybody singing and then go to the bathroom and then she was gone.
Sounds similar to Dad.
Mm-hmm.
She would have them all. She would have them convinced we were crazy. Like when she would go to rehab. Yeah.
So what was yours?
Gosh. I mean, my memories are very mixed because I don't remember a lot of my childhood. Somebody may mention something that happened and I may be like, oh yeah, I do vaguely remember that. But I must have had some trauma, or I did have some trauma that happened and I've just blocked out a lot of my childhood. But I remember, going and visiting prisons. And I mean, I loved it when we'd go because we got to stay at like a hospitality house. And I met
We had the
some of
bestest
our
of friends
closest friends there, because it was like a house that other people got to go and stay at because their family was in prison also. And I just thought it was so neat we'd all meet up. And
It was like going on a sleepover because
it was
Granny
like-
would never let us go on sleepovers.
I mean, it was like a bed and breakfast. They made us food and it was always so nice. And our house growing up was,
not so.
yeah, it was a lot really badly cluttered. So, it was super nice to me. So we loved going there.
It was hoarders on steroids.
Yes, it was. That was a nice way of putting it. So to this day, I have a very, I have a fear of
She's
rats,
OCD.
mice, and roaches, and I'm a little
Clutter.
OCD. I can't stand clutter. I mean, if it's in my refrigerator for more than 3 days, it's gone. Throw it away.
She didn't give it 3 days. It's gone the next day.
24 hours.
Sorry. But and then I just remember Christmas times. I mean, we used to have a lot of presents, but the way we got our presents is, we'd always go to
Church.
the
churches.
different churches, and churches would give us gifts or, Head Start. I remember Head Start, which is, I guess,
Pre-K kind of nowadays.
yeah, but it was like a government funded program. I don't even know if they have those anymore. I'm not sure if they do or not, but I used to love to go up there too because it was always fun. We always had a good time. I remember going to the dentist and stuff, and it was never like all my friends' dentists. They were, a lot nicer, and ours was like walking down the long white hallway, and the center blocks were the
government
were the
looking
walls.
building.
Yeah, I mean, we never got to go to the normal ones. I remember, going to family members' houses, and there would be guard dogs outside. There's a certain way you had to go at the dog, and
Probably
they were
several
there.
surveillance systems too set up in case
they're
the law came
protecting.
in too.
And I'll never forget one time I was laying in bed because if you lived with my grandmother, you slept with my grandmother. I mean, it would be Granny, me, Cassie, Tina, my cousin Buffy. I mean, we were all in the bed. So that
It'd be
Granny,
4 across the top, 2 across the bottom.
yeah, Granny could just reach over and touch us. and we were all there.
Well, she did that because she wasn't weird. She did that because mom and dad, she was afraid we're going to nod out and catch her house on fire.
Yeah. So
she needed all the kids
us.
at one point so she could get all of us out in case, that house were to go up in flames.
Yeah, because if they were there.
You guys were not the only kids that lived with your granny.
No, Granny had 4 children of her own, and then she raised 8 of us.
Names. Yeah,
8 of us.
Yeah,
because
I
she
think
had 12 total that she raised.
I've always thought it was strange that, like, your dad's mom ended up with all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
She had, out of her 4 children, she had 2 white sheep, 2 black sheep. So she raised all of my dad and my aunt's kids.
But the black sheep were her. They were right there by her side. I mean, if she needed something, the black sheep were there for her. Not that the other ones weren't, but we
were closer.
They were just closer to her.
And she dedicated her life to us.
Right.
Yeah. Because somebody had to.
And to her 2 black sheep. So, but so we'd all be right there in the bed with her. And I just remember laying in bed with her one night and then the phone ringing early one morning. And apparently it was my mother on the phone. And my grandmother's name was Dixie also. And they were like, she said, Dixie? She said, Dixie, do you know where Dixie's at? And my grandmother said, well, yeah, I know where she's at. Do you know where she's at? So my mother was just calling to let me know that someone on her side of the family had passed away. So that's one of my earliest memories also.
But it'd probably been months, if not years, since you'd heard from her.
Oh, yeah, it had been years probably. But I used to tell people at school when I was younger that, my parents had passed away or my mom had passed away.
Oh, did you really? Because I told everybody mine worked for the government.
Smart.
But, I mean,
which was not a lie. They did work for the government in the prison.
Roundabout way, yeah.
They worked for the government.
That's smart.
Oh Lordy.
So what was your earliest memory?
I think my earliest memory. So me and Tina are 10.5 months apart. So apparently mom and dad had us, and it was court day. And I remember like them going to court. I mean, of course, obviously I didn't know the situation surrounding it.
Which is very rare that they had you guys.
Right.
I mean, it would just be almost like
because court day means they're going back to jail. But I remember apparently Granny must not have known that they were going to court. And we lived in this house with this really tall, probably like a 10-foot, front porch. And I remember holding on to Tina's diaper because she kept trying to crawl off the front porch. And Dad's serial killer friend was our babysitter. Which, years later he was on America's Most Wanted. And I was like, oh, he used to babysit us.
We didn't know
he was really a serial killer though?
We didn't know that.
We didn't know at the time.
Oh, so
he really thought he was just a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Granny showing up and having, and I was trying to hold Tina from going off of the front porch in her diaper. And I don't think they ever really had us that much after that. But I mean, like, I remember being a kid, and again, we all slept in Granny's room, but, like mine and Tina's furniture were in a room, and I think yours and Buffy's were in a room and stuff like that. Like going through our underwear drawer and stuff, and finding syringes, that's not normal. I remember
you never put your hand down on the back of a couch.
Never put your hand
in between the
anywhere.
Sofas.
I don't care if you're looking for change or not. Don't do it because you might get stuck.
You never just ate off of a spoon.
Nope,
ever because
drugs were probably cooked in that spoon at some point, and you didn't know if Granny had the time to wash them or not.
Yeah.
You never ate off a spoon. When I was in Girl Scouts, like we'd go to Camp Adahi and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, I can invite my mom, and took her up camping with us, and she got, I guess she must have been shooting up heroin or something out in the outhouse, and she passed out and nodded out, and I pretty much believe that she overdosed at this point because they couldn't wake her up, so I wasn't allowed to sleep out like all the other kids were out in the tents and stuff. I had to sleep with the Girl Scout leaders because my mom was out there and they're having to call an ambulance and stuff.
So at least I think by the time we were 4, we all knew how to take the spoon and heat it up and the syringe and put the thing on your arm and I remember those days.
Yeah. And the worst part about it was Granny really did try to keep us away from that as much as possible. But then again, she also was a waitress for 52 years. So she had to work.
And that was also her child. So
and that was her baby,
If he came home, she knew that he was there in the
safe.
home and he was safe. And,
right.
So
she didn't condone anything that he did, but again, she had to go to work in order to provide for all of us, 8 kids that she had. So, Dixie had to stand up, and she had to babysit us even when, mom and dad were there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I didn't go to, your normal Friday night football game. I mean, I got to go maybe a couple of times, throughout my high school years, but I didn't get to go to Friday night football games or, Saturdays at my friend's house. And every now and then I would get to go, but I didn't. It was stay at home and take care of my sisters.
Yeah.
So.
And then the one time I turned on the TV and, I guess mom and dad they were driving down the interstate, pulled over to, get a fix or whatever. And then the car would not go back into drive. So they decided to put it on in reverse. And then they're going down the interstate in reverse, wherever they were going. So then you've got the news channel, and they're following them like they're O.J. Simpson, and then they're going, I'm like, hey, mom and dad's on TV. That wasn't, unnormal in my house. Or when dad was on Crime Stoppers multiple times, when my little sister graduated high school. That's not normal.
No, I mean, yeah, we didn't lead a normal life.
No, but it was normal to us at the time because we didn't know any different.
Yeah. But at the same time, he could come into a room and charm that whole entire room. Like you said about your mom.
Mm-hmm.
If my dad had used his talents for good, I mean, he could sing and he could dance.
He quote you the whole Bible.
Yes. He, like I said, he could charm a whole entire room. I mean, the ladies loved him, apparently. So, maybe too much, but I mean, he was a charmer.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good looking man back in the day. He had lots and lots of talents though. Just didn't use them for the right thing.
And he did love us kids. He did.
I mean, he did.
I mean, he may have, stolen a moped and stuff, but he'd bring us gifts. There's no telling where they came from, but we were happy for them.
Yeah.
And he would try to bond like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
we had a sibling. Well, she ended up not being our sister, but we grew up thinking she was our sister.
Yeah.
And one of her funniest stories is like, I'll never forget. I know doesn't everybody realize that later in life? But she said, I'll never forget one time whenever, he bought us all bikes for Christmas. He was like, well, but, you're going to have to get your stepdad or whatever over there to, cut off I guess it's the cords that
had them attached at the place where he stole them from.
Yeah. But I mean, he got on bikes. That's the nice part. He did get them some bikes.
But you're going to need some bolt cutters in order to use them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. See, I was spoiled. I mean, like my mom, like she would come home and I would have everything I ever wanted. I mean, up until after high school, I mean, she spoiled me rotten. She called me her monster because I think she just felt guilty for all the things that she had done when I was younger.
Now, when she would come home, how long would she stay before she would take out again, though?
Oh, when I was little, who knows? I mean, a couple of weeks. I mean,
mom and dad would come home for like 2 or 3 days and then they'd disappear again.
Yeah, like most of my childhood memories are with my nanny or my dad. I was with my daddy, a lot when I was little too. But I mean, mom would just take off because I started skating. She put me in skating, and I think there must have been a lot of drugs in the skating ring back then because I'm not sure why.
Why else would you go?
Right. But my nanny would take me too. So, I mean, I skated a lot, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That got trophies. She loves to skate.
I do. Not anymore. I can't do anything. I'm old. Do what?
You still brag about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I can
having her trophies.
Just skate better than y'all.
She's a professional skater.
I haven't been skating yet since I came off my monitor. Y'all went without me.
You didn't grow up skating though.
No, I mean, I broke my arm there. So I mean,
I broke my arm there skating also.
I broke my mom's arm. She fell in front of me and I kicked her elbow. I have a lot of pictures of you, Dixie, in skating outfits, and I don't understand why you had them on. If you,
I don't know if those were skating outfits
they
or were they skating outfits? Because we were in
Granny,
dance too, though. We were like
but you're 10 years younger than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my cousin were older. My cousin and I were raised together as sisters. But Granny we'd have birthday parties, and she would just put us in skating costumes sometimes. And my cousin was a better. I'll give her credit. She was a better skater than I am. I've always been. I'm okay. I'm not the most athletic person in the family. I'm okay with that.
So fast forward to like your teenage years or middle school.
I was not most athletic person then either.
Well, I didn't figure you were.
Nor is she now.
I was a volunteer at the hospitals though. I wore the little caps and stuff, the cute little dresses.
I was a softball player.
Yes, sir.
Not me.
I was in Girl Scouts.
You don't get a nose this size being athletic. It always hit me in the nose. No.
Oh my.
Okay, so Tina was with you guys then too,
Right.
and then Susie was here in Nashville, and y'all didn't know her then. But Charlie, what was? So how long or often did y'all see Charlie?
I mean,
we
saw-
knew Charlie was our brother. And then
I probably remember more than you do
probably
because
do.
you were younger.
Yeah.
Because they were always, him and his sister, who we also were raised thinking was our sister. She'll always be our. We're not going to name her name, but of course, But we were raised as her being our sister, and she'll always be my sister to me.
Always consider her a sister.
Always. But they would come to the house a couple times a year. I mean, we knew that we were siblings and stuff.
I mean, he can't deny it. He looks just like our father.
No, he can't. He definitely cannot deny it. But a couple times a year. But they lived with their
mother,
mom's side of the family. They lived with I think they lived with their grandmother.
Their mother is Sister Susie's mother too.
Yeah. And when their mother got sick is when the truth came out about Susie, when we found out about her. Found out that one sibling was not our sister, and then we found out we had another sibling. So Kila was not the first surprise, as we've already stated.
I know, that made me mad a little bit. Even call and be like, hey, I'm your sister. And you're like, oh,
another one.
And going back to earlier when you said you were spoiled, it's probably maybe a good thing that we didn't find out until later on in life that you were a sister, because we were not spoiled.
Y'all wouldn't have liked me.
We would not. No, you would not have had all of the nice things that you had if you lived with us.
Oh, I would have too. I mean, I had nice things, but then I would come home and our water would be off or the lights would be off. And so, it was give and a take, I guess.
Yeah.
And we moved like every 3 months.
Probably from running from drug dealers.
So we moved to California, and then my mom got married in California. And so he was from Smyrna, Tennessee. So that's how we got to Smyrna. And then they started up on drugs again, her and him did, and up until they got divorced. But so, I mean, we just moved every 3 or 4 months because we probably got evicted.
Probably.
Yeah. Because I remember.
Can't keep the water out, and I doubt she paid the rent.
No, and I would always get mad because she would go get all this nice furniture from like the Rent-A-Center, and we'd have it for a couple months when the income taxes come in, and then 4 months later I'd come home, we wouldn't have furniture.
I mean, you got to give her credit. She at least was trying to establish her credit.
I don't know if Rent-A-Center gives you credit or not.
Oh, I don't know.
But
and see your mom had several boyfriends, correct, Kila?
Oh, her men and drugs were like the same. She traded one in for another one.
Oh, and our house was right opposite. Our grandmother never dated. She never, I was just
she devoted her life to us and her dogs.
She devoted her, yep.
I think my mom was married 5 times. And and my stepdad is amazing. And thank God she met him. But bless his heart, he doesn't know a lot of this stuff, but she was a heathen. I mean, he says he's not dumb to it, but when she kind of settled down. But then she was sick too, so she had already had cirrhosis of the liver, and she couldn't do anything anymore. And then it's like she became a hermit because she didn't know how to be around people without
and be normal
and doing drugs. Mm-hmm.
Because so later on in life, you were with your mom. I mean, y'all were together, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, yes, because after we moved to California, I was always with my mom. And so.
I mean, we weren't unless we were just, I remember when I was trying to get my driver's license and stuff. I mean, that's at the point that I realized that Granny never even had guardianship over us.
Mm-hmm.
We were still, she just took care of us while Mom and Dad were always in jail. I think she actually had to send papers to Dad to sign, giving her guardianship for me to get my license. And he had a whole fit, and we're like, you're not here.
Yeah.
But
When we moved back here, my mom too. I mean, even though she had her demons, I mean, she would kiss me on the mouth and like hug all over me, and I mean, she was very affectionate. And so, like, I never knew, or had any doubts that I wasn't her number one, or everything she did was for me, if that makes any sense. She was crazy, but she was good crazy, I guess.
Because you were older when your mom passed.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, like me and Tina, we were 13 when ours passed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of still didn't understand the gist of it. I mean, we were so young.
Were you close? Were you close with your mom, though?
I was close when I seen her on visitation days, or, that's as close as we could get.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I remember at one point when mom and dad were both in jail at the same time. No, I'm sorry. Mom had went to jail first, and dad went and took fireworks and put them all around the perimeter of the jail at the fence and lit them off for the 4th of July and was like, I love you. Happy 4th of July. And he would stand out there with a slingshot and lug nuts full of drugs, and he would slingshot them over the fence at the girls, to get her drugs into the prison. Mm-hmm. And then he took off on a moped because the police at this point were chasing him. And I believe he wrecked 9 cop cars down on Brainerd Road in that big pursuit on a moped, not a motorcycle, a moped with your feet up, moped.
So nobody, I mean, if nothing else, the man could drive.
And at the end of the day, what everybody doesn't know, Dad had cancer for 33 years. Mm-hmm. For 33 years, he had cancer, and he's went into remission twice, or was it 3 times?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know he was in remission for a while.
Yeah, he was in remission for a while, and then it came back, and then he went into remission again. And I believe it came back.
What kind of cancer?
He had squamous
cell carcinoma.
Yeah, squamous cell carcinoma. He had cancer of the blood, cancer of the bone. Mm-hmm. And then my mom died of liver cancer. So when they found her cancer, she had 28 tumors on her liver the size of $50, and she lived 30 days.
I wonder if hers was cirrhosis of the liver that turned into liver cancer.
I mean, there's no telling, because every time they'd go to the hospital, they went to the hospital and she'd go to the bathroom and prick her finger and put blood in her urine just to get Dilaudid and stuff. So, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, there's no way that they could have probably accurately diagnosed her, because they were doctor shoppers, and people weren't going to believe anything anyway.
Okay, so I really think that maybe we bonded because, I mean, all of my friends always thought I was crazy when I would tell them any of my childhood stories. And so y'all beat mine, though. You guys really beat mine.
Oh, I have another story.
Story time.
Dad. I'm older now. I have kids of my own. I removed myself from the situation many, 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 many years ago.
I know this is where this is going.
I would go up and visit, but I think some of my family thought maybe I thought I was better than everybody else. I'm like, no, I just can't take the kids up there and let them get down, because I don't want them to
eat a roach,
touch a needle, it was just not very good living conditions. So, but I got a phone call from Dad one time, and he needed me to take him to the doctor. And of course I did. So mind you, this was the first and last time this would ever happen. Mom's calling, but, took him to the doctor. Mind you, several doctors later, I'd had enough of the doctor shopping. Then he needed me to take him to the grocery store. Okay. So I'm like, I'm not going to the grocery store, Dad. I'll just wait out here on you.
Okay, so you took him to the doctor.
Yeah, took him to the doctor.
Several doctors.
I was only supposed to take him to one doctor. But
because would he go around and try to get Dilaudid?
I don't know.
Morphine.
Because I used to remember sitting in the car, because we would do that, going around doctor shopping. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper at this point. So after I said several doctors later, I was done. Dad, let's go. We're going home. Well, can you at least run me by the grocery store? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to run by the grocery store. I'm not going in, get in there and get back out, because I've had it. I'm ready to go home. So he goes in the grocery store, and, as always, it's taken him a while because he couldn't walk very well. I mean, he had cancer. His leg was...
He'd had titanium from his hip to his knee anyway.
Yeah, and it was going out also. So I'm sitting in the car waiting for him to get out. The next thing I know, my back door opens. My dad is there with
A bag boy.
A bag boy.
With no bags.
There was a buggy full of groceries, but none of them were in grocery bags. And I'm like, they just start throwing groceries in the back of my car.
And these aren't just groceries. This is nothing
like
but
steak
meat
and lobster and all of this stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, no, me and this kid right here, we got to understand it. He's my buddy. We got to understand it. I'm getting all this stuff. I'm the mayor. I mean, he used to call himself the mayor.
The mayor
and
of
I'm
East
like,
Chattanooga.
But you're not the mayor of East Chattanooga, Dad. And what was I going to do? Go in the grocery store and tell on? I mean, I didn't know what to do. I was so mad at him. We left, and
So you stole meat.
You took him to Granny.
What'd you say, Kila?
You stole meat.
She didn't steal it. I mean, she was probably an accomplice at the end of the day.
You drove the
But-
car.
She drove the getaway car.
Okay, I did, yes. But at the same time, I didn't know what to do. I was scared.
Because he was your dad and you didn't want to tell him no.
Yeah, but I was still scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this poor kid's gonna get fired. First of all, I was scared to death for the poor kid, and I will never forget when I got him to wherever his final place, his resting place that I dropped him off at. I was chunking stuff out of my car. I'm like, I will never ever take you anywhere else. Do not ever ask me to take you anywhere else again.
You would stick by that. I wouldn't.
So mad
because he would.
He would
do crazy stuff. You would stick by it. I couldn't.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of mine was more guilt. Me and Granny were really, really, really close, and Dixie had already, grown up and had her family and her life. But Granny would call me at 2:00 in the morning and be like, "Hey, I've got to go pick up your dad in East Chattanooga, which is Cracktown, basically." And I'll be like, no, I mean, you're 80 years old. Just stay at home, And then I had just had my son. So I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and I'd have to leave and I'd have to go down to Cracktown to pick Dad up because he's down there, with the police and all kind of stuff, and he expected his mom to come pick him up. So, I mean, I felt more obligated and, then I just started doing drugs with him and then I went crazy. So
I was going to ask, how old were you when you started doing drugs with him?
Whenever he got out of prison the last time. So I was 23, turning it right at 20, no, maybe 24. Because he had just gotten out of prison.
I think I may be, honestly, and you may know, I think I'm the only child that he never asked to do drugs with.
Yeah.
Now, there was a couple times he'd say, hey, I've got these gift cards if you want to buy them or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, there's probably ain't nothing on that gift card.
There was stuff on the gift card because we went and stole it and we went and got a gift card back for it.
Oh, well.
There was money on the gift card.
But I would not buy them from him. I wouldn't, sorry. I mean, I'd rather give you $50 if you need $50, but I'm not going to buy anything that you're trying to sell me. And I don't know why I was that. Maybe, I don't know if it's because I was his mother's namesake. I don't know why I was never asked.
Maybe because
So you think he treated you differently than he did Cassie per se?
Yes, I do. Yep. He never spoke to me the way that he spoke to them because he would talk to them sometimes horribly.
We'll have to do a whole episode.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's a different.
I'll have to do a whole.
Yeah,
we'll have to do an
different.
episode, and I'll read you some of the letters from prison that I still have from.
We'll have to start where around the time that I guess Dixie you moved out and Cassie you started doing drugs and making drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Dad got 14 felonies together.
Oh, I've never done
Well,
that with my dad.
I don't believe they were all. Well, they may have all been felonies, but yeah, we caught 14 felonies together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's a whole episode within itself.
Yeah.
Walking away was not easy either. Having to remove yourself from certain situations. Another funny story about their mom, though. I remember getting married to my first husband. Well, I haven't had 12 or anything, but my children's dad. That's another story, douchebag dads. But
Douchebag dads.
That was bad, Cassie.
Was
that was really bad what you said.
Douchebag dads.
But to my girl's father, and my grandmother was like to their mom, she was like, absolutely, you have to wear hose.
Oh, because she came in there with
legs
no
were
pantyhose
just-
on.
Oh, their legs would just be horrible from where
Scarred
they would shoot
up.
up. And so,
I mean, I remember going to the prisons whenever we were little and we were so small, like we didn't get pat searched. So Granny would, put medicine, in, $100 bills and, cash money and roll it up. And she'd put it in like the bra straps of our shirts and stuff so the guards wouldn't find it. So, I mean, like we were entering contraband into a penal institution at 3.
Not realizing it.
Not realizing it.
So she kind of enabled.
She
him.
was a horrible enabler.
Yes.
She didn't condone it, but she didn't put her foot down either. And enough's enough because that was her baby boy.
That was a lot of people's problems is they never had to hit bottom because she was going to catch them.
Well, including mine too, because I mean, I knew regardless of what was going on, it didn't matter if it was 4:00 in the morning. I could go to my granny's and knock on the door, and I had a place to go.
Oh, see, my nanny was a little Church of God lady, and you didn't do nothing wrong in her house. I mean, we dusted the furniture every day, and
now the difference
vacuumed every day.
I never brought any of that bull crap to Granny's house because I had enough respect for her because I know what she'd been through. Dad, he'd bring it all.
Oh, my nanny would have drugged Mama to the front of the church and made them pray over her.
Yeah. So Granny was a little bit of an enabler in the. I mean, Dad was arrested 199 times.
No,
he was arrested more than that. That's what I pulled.
From 2000.
1992.
From 1992 to 2015.
Yes.
That wasn't even his glory years.
Glory days. So
yeah, see, Mama would never let Nanny. She never wanted Nanny to know anything she did wrong. I mean, because
Granny would go and just, I mean, she'd lie up and down for him. I mean, I remember when he had that accident, and the police showed up looking for him, and they knew Granny, so they were all like, Granny. Well, Dad ran and opened up the attic stairs, and he climbed up in the attic. And Dad had actually opened the door and seen that it was the police and then slammed it in their face. And then he took off in the attic. So they knock on the door again, and Granny gets up from the couch and goes and opens it. And they're like, Granny, where's Charlie? She's like, I ain't seen him. And they're like,
knowing they just seen him.
Knowing they just seen him. And they're like, we just seen him. And she's like, well, I haven't seen him at all. And they're like, they knew her and they respected her. And they're like, well, we need him to come down. He's going to have to turn himself in. And then Dad's in the attic, and he's like, tomorrow's my birthday, or next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, he needs to turn himself in, and he's in the attic. He's like, next Wednesday's my damn birthday. Y'all do your job, and I'm going to do mine. Catch me if you can.
That's crazy.
And that was him.
So what we want to know is if anybody else has stories like this.
Yeah.
Because
who had normal lives like we did?
Who else had a normal life like we did?
Yeah, because this is our normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we did love our parents, and I thank God for my normal daddy. And he wasn't even that normal, but I mean, he was the most normal thing I had.
I mean, Dixie still has, voicemails and stuff on her phone since Dad died of Dad calling.
Yeah, you have the one where he's talking about his somebody can have his leg, and I remember asking Dixie, does he have a fake leg? And she was like, no, but he felt like he did at that time.
Yeah, he did have a friend with a fake leg.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
What are you looking at? Looking for Trent?
Yeah. Well, because are we still live?
Yeah, y'all are live.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hey.
Well, because now, I mean, what do we do?
I mean, just y'all are good. I think that was a great episode. Y'all killed that.
Memories where the dysfunction started, guys. So
yeah, right. Taking us all the way back, laying the foundation, the backstory.
Gosh, and there'll be more because there's
more.
probably
It's going to be a whole lot of that.
It is, and people try to get us to like minimize it, and I'm like, you can't.
No,
there's no minimizing it. I mean, there's so much to it. I do have some of Cassie's prison pictures here.
Oh my God, really?
If y'all would like to see, because
she said she was going to put these pictures on OnlyFans, and I don't know what that is, but if it's going to make us money,
I mean, how did
y'all
you
can make bank?
How did you get? You know what else I want to do, Trent? And you're going to say this is the best idea. Cassie has a cookbook from prison.
Let's go.
And I'm like, we need to publish that.
Yeah.
I mean, recipes that inmates like.
Martha Stewart ain't got shit on me.
Yeah, we got comments saying yes, I want to see. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm like, let's publish that. Look at this. How you look cute in prison like that.
You gotta hold it closer.
You gotta hold it closer.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I was thick, girl.
You did have some thickness now.
I was
really
thick.
Look, that was October of 2017.
That's in jail?
That's FPC Mariana.
Yep.
Yo.
Yes, because they were going to kick me out of the camp because I kept dyeing my hair and stuff, so they wouldn't let me dye my hair.
Look at that. How cute is
Aw.
that? That's like
That-
your profile picture.
That's
July
my
of
cosmetology.
2014. That is FPC Bryant. Was that a different prison?
That was Bryan, Texas. I was in 6 of them.
Oh,
yeah.
this is. I don't like that one. You're kind
I
of.
don't either.
I was like 12. Okay, I went to the prison.
Y'all are
Yeah.
wild.
I kept coloring my hair and I had to cut it all off.
Look, they even have puppies in prison. Prison
Those are my
puppies.
babies.
Oh.
We train dogs for canine companions for independence. So shout out to those people.
Oh, is this
That's another
Dixie
podcast
visiting
also.
you in prison?
That
these
is
comments are
Dixie, and
gold,
that's
too.
in Alabama about 6 months before I got out.
Nice.
We're not putting this on anything, right?
This is
let's see.
live right now.
Okay.
She's just going from one episode to another to another.
Yeah, you feel like you're taking away what could be another episode.
Well, I'm just showing pictures that I've been looking at.
Yeah. Good.
Here was my mama.
Meg Gallagher says Kila's short little arms won't reach the screen to
Meg,
show us the close-ups.
You know what this is.
That's her and her mama. We'll have to pull some like prison pictures out. I mean, like when Dad died.
This is from the Play Lake Club, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
When Dad died, whenever they were looking for obituary pictures, I mean, it was extremely hard to find any that did not have Tennessee Department of Correction going down the side of his pants.
Man.
Let me find something. So when I did the DNA test and it came back and I started stalking them, and I'm like, there is no way that my daddy is not my dad. Dixie, do you have a picture of your dad with the eyebrows? So my mom and I, my daughter, we were looking through pictures and she was like, Mom, it's the eyebrows. Can y'all see this? Bert and Ernie eyebrows on my face. I mean, they're bad. They're so bad.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see it, but yeah.
You can't,
I mean, it's just, it's how the camera focuses.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
you can't
focused
miss
on
them
you.
eyebrows.
Next time we'll just have to give them to Trent and let him just put them on the screen.
Yeah, we can make a little slideshow or something.
But his eyebrows they were too much. It was a unibrow.
Yeah, I mean, he still had them whenever he passed away. I mean, the older I get, the more mine are falling out. And I'm like, how did Dad have so many eyebrows?
And he had a full set of hair and everything. Salt and pepper.
Probably because he didn't wax them when he was younger either. He just let that caterpillar just keep on growing.
And we inherited those eyebrows too. We just have to take care of ours.
The eyebrows and the booty. It's.
I didn't get that at all. So
well, you're.
I got hers.
I do have a question. So when did you realize your mom was a prostitute?
About 6 months ago.
See?
Oh, if you're talking to me, that's when I found out about mine.
Oh. When did I realize that my mom was a prostitute? Probably. Yeah. I mean, I was probably older, but I mean, they never had us around it because Granny protected us so much, you know. But then, like after it all kind of came out and about, I mean, it was just 2 and 2 added up. You know, I'm pretty sure that my dad was her pimp.
Let's see, and I knew they were young. Again, they were 10 years younger than me, so I did know. I mean, I knew that whenever we would go downtown where the flea market was at and the little Chinese restaurant on the corner was at, the ladies that stood on the street corner were ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night.
Or ladies of the day.
Well, now taking that back, though, going historically, my mother's mom was actually the first woman in Chattanooga to be arrested for prostituting out her children. And I learned that, as an adult and stuff like that. But that,
your mom's mom was
my grandmother, not the one that raised me.
Yeah.
My mother.
Right.
But she actually was arrested for prostituting out her children.
Oh, so she wasn't a prostitute. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. And then, my aunt was a madam, my dad's sister, so.
I'm not going to go there either.
Not going to go there today, though. That'll be a whole nother one.
With permission from family. We do have to be careful what we say because we have family.
I was trying to find a picture of y'all sweet little granny. I had some out here.
Our sweet little granny that would tear you up.
She used to tell some of my cousins' girlfriends and stuff, you ain't nothing but what'd she tell them? A road whore. You're nothing but a road whore.
There you go. Now we know.
My dad said my mom was a man hustler last week when we talked.
But now my dad and my mom is the only one that he actually married out of all of our moms. So I mean, they were extremely close. They were like Bonnie and Clyde. Because y'all's moms didn't really go to jail much with Dad, did they?
My mom, I think, only got arrested once because that's how I got my necklace of her thumbprint.
Yeah, no, and
I had to call around and get them to give me her fingerprints.
And my mom did not go to jail, I think, with Dad at all.
Oh, see, like they were still coming to Granny's house with active warrants for Mom after she died.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Everybody thought we'd get me and her confused because we have the same name.
Oh.
Yeah, every time I got in trouble, they were like,
so much to come.
Yeah, so much more to come. All right. So
That's
we'll
the
have
tip of the
to,
iceberg.
I'm going to make a note where to pick up on the next episode of My Lost and Found Sisters.
Absolutely.
And these are the days of our lives.
And if you want to join our family, just let us know.
Let us know. No, seriously, though, if there's people out there and they want to share their stories and stuff with us, or if you've got crazy, normal per se childhoods that are not normal, email us, mylostandfoundsisters@gmail.com. Check out our social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button. Don't just watch the video and not hit it.
Yes.
That's rude.
She's a pro.
And
Cassie's
like
a
it.
pro, yeah. Cassie's a pro.
All right. Well, we will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Right, bye.
Kila, I'll see you on Saturday. I love your face.
Thank you.
Okay,
Love
bye.
you.
Love you.